Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Ladies and gentlemen, don't touch the dial. Today we have special guests, really, and this is all about the Norristown area. It's East Norton, West Norton, East Norton, West Norton, Norristown, and also Upper Merion and the whole area. And so our two guests here today, and really it's a pleasure because I know both of you. I know you, I know your husband, way back when he was with the water company. Okay, so my guests, Kathy Brandon. We'll do like we do in Madison Square Garden. In this corner, Kathy Brandon. And also, and my good friend Al Pascall, really, for years, well, I've read your articles when you wrote an article in newspapers, and, so it's really, so it's a pleasure for me to have you here, and to come in here at the last minute, So I really, Stan Husky, I give him a call. It says, I need a guest over here. Boom, and I'm telling you, it's great. So we're going to talk about what's important for us. And if you're you better be a taxpayer. Where your money's going, where we're spending. Okay, we're going to talk about the zoo. We're going to talk about Montgomery Hospital. We're going to talk about Main Street, Norristown. We're going to talk the revitalization, and we're also going to talk about our Commissioner Matthews, who is planning on running for lieutenant governor, which would be an honor in this area. And Al Pascall is a very good friend of his, and we'll go into detail of what's going on here. And also, we're going to talk about Norristown. We'll talk a little bit about Norristown. It's going to be 200 years old. 200. I'm 82. So first, Kathy, tell me something about you. Tell the people something about yourself. What you do.
Okay. Well, actually, Hank, first I'd like to thank you for having us on the show today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
As you said, I'm Kathy Brandon, the Executive Vice President of the Montgomery County Chambers of Commerce. And the Chambers of Commerce is actually a joint venture of two separate entities. The Montco Chamber of Commerce, headquartered here in Norristown, along with the Greater Valley Forge Chamber, which is headquartered in King of Prussia. Al is the president of that entity, and I'm the Executive Vice President. We formed that entity about 5 years ago. And the reason that we joined together were to improve the business opportunities of all of our chamber members. It has allowed us to provide broader programming, do better membership development campaigns, as well as public policy issues. Al takes care of the entire public policy issues, does a fabulous job. The organization couldn't be what it is today without the cooperation of both chambers. It's been actually a pleasure to work with Al, and the two chambers have really come together and done well.
Well, that's to her credit. She's done the impossible. She keeps me straight.
Well, all right, Al, I don't know. I know you move things, right? You move things. We moved that building that took so long.
That was a punishment on me for having been in the newspaper business.
All right, now tell us about what you do.
Fundamentally, as Kathy said, I generally handle the public policy side of our store, and through the joint venture, we represent nearly 1,800 members from Fort Washington to Valley Forge. So in matters that are of concern to business on the state, local level, we can intervene to have our point of view put across, hopefully.
So I remember the Chamber of Commerce when I first started as a policeman in Norristown. It was next to the Grand Theater. It was a storefront, a storefront, and then it moved, and it's great, a lot of stores, businesses belong to the Chamber of Commerce. It helps them out. They get to know people, and so, okay, now let's start the meat of this stuff. All right, we're going to talk. What do you want to start with? What do you want to start with?
Your call.
Okay, you want a cold shot?
You're the referee.
All right, in this corner, Montgomery Hospital. We hear about it moving out. What are we going to talk about?
Senator Williams is trying to organize some efforts with Commissioner Commissioner Matthews to try to keep it within the borough. I think it's going to be
Matthews, commissioner.
That's correct. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult thing to do. It's being driven by a lot of factors to stop it from moving. But I did tell the senator yesterday she would have our full support to try to keep it within the borough.
Well, in other words, the people. What can you do to motivate the people, or we'll call them stoppers? What can we do?
We're looking at it from the standpoint that for injured workers, there will not be an ER between East Norton and Paoli. So you have a big geographical gap where a severely injured worker who would, say someone, construction guy, God forbid, should fall or something and need x-rays and what have you. There's not going to be a place to do that. So we have a vested interest in trying to do it. How it can be done until we have the facts in hand, it's tough to say.
Well, you know, Montgomery Hospital is, what, 115 years, you know, it's for one of the few independent hospitals. And I had something to do with that, the IMRT, that the cancer would focus in. And also, I understand there's something to do with the heart. You don't have to go all the way to Philly. You can get pulmonary, I forget, I had Dr. Grafey here, who's head of the cancer, explain that. So we have a new entrance, we have a new receiving ward. You know, we're spending on, and all of a sudden we're bailing out. I mean,
Well, you've got a 68-year-old building, too.
Right.
And a physical plant is tough to work with. And, expansion and so forth are very difficult. And those are areas that have been publicly expressed as concern by hospital administration. I've had no direct contact with them yet.
well, we'll do what we can to keep it here, because I only live 3 blocks above, you know, 1700 block. And okay, now, Kathy, let's talk about the zoo. Tell me something about the zoo.
Well, the zoo, I feel, is one of the best-kept secrets of Montgomery County.
Better believe it.
It has done so much for Norristown, can do so much for Norristown, and will continue to do. We, as a chamber, I feel, support the zoo quite a bit. We hold a run there in the spring. It's called the Norristown Run.
Right.
And we run actually through the zoo, which brings hundreds of runners from out of the area to
Okay.
this
Oh, yeah,
area.
you hook on to the runners, boy, they come from all over.
Absolutely. At their own little clique are runners. And they're coming, they're seeing a part of Norristown, a part of Montgomery County that some of them never even realized existed. People saw the zoo years and years ago. And a few years ago, we started, and we have a business expo as a joint venture in the fall. And so many of our members came the first year to that expo, had not been to the zoo in years, and were shocked
Oh, how about that?
at
Yeah.
what the zoo provides.
Yeah, I had the missionary charities, a nun called me and said that she had, I think, about 70 or 80 kids who wanted to get down to the zoo. And a couple, Pat Mascara gave him a call, says, you need a little for the bus, and, you know, and they picked up the tab for it, you know. And, you know, the kids enjoyed themselves, you know, just put them on the bus, get down here. It was great, you know. Now, another revitalization in Norristown. Come on, tell me what we're going to do here. What's the future for Norristown?
If Norristown is careful, the borough administration, in my view, the future is promising. But because one of the things that I like to point out to people, for the first time in a generation, virtually every storefront on Main Street is full. And some of them may not be as attractive a business as you might want, but the vast majority of them are thriving, healthy, and welcome type businesses. One area that's blossoming is the furniture stores. You know, furniture stores need low rent, the margins are small, and you see the Chainmar investment last year. It's huge.
My nephew.
Now the borough wants to put a new tax on the businesses, and I take a very, very dim view of that.
What's that?
The borough wants to create something called a business improvement district and assess the downtown.
I think, is this what we're talking about in the Times
Yes.
Herald today?
The headlines
this morning?
today's paper.
And I
Yeah.
brought this purposely because I didn't know the second chance for business districts. What's the
Well,
scoop?
under state law, the borough has to solicit the businesses to be affected. And if more than 40% of them object, then they cannot enact a tax. It appears that 40% of them did object, but there may have been procedural errors in that process. So the borough is insisting that it vote again because it appears apparent the borough council wants this new tax very badly. In Philadelphia right now, my colleagues there are fighting to reduce the business taxes because there's been such a hemorrhage of business. This, in my view, is not the time to put additional taxes on the business. Let them flourish. You know, there's some things that taxpayers are due by paying taxes. A lot of the business people live out of town, but they pay their business taxes. Police protection is essential there.
Right. Police.
And it's in the interest of the community. So we are reviewing the matter closely in light of this second vote, but it is a source of
Yes.
concern.
Stan Husky, I called him, I said, what's this all about? He says, Al will tell you about it. So,
He and I have
but,
differing views on the
I want
topic.
people to know, and if there's anybody that has a different opinion, they're welcome to give me a call, and we'll put it on this program.
I get everybody's different opinions. They're
Yeah,
welcome.
so,
That would be a debate
In other
and a
words,
half.
this is like in boxing, saying you're getting a rematch,
A
right?
rematch, exactly
Okay,
right.
Okay, so we'll call that a rematch. But, the Chamber of Commerce, they're the heart of a business world, right? I mean, they keep the ball bouncing, okay? And in Norristown, I had a couple guests here, and they were talking about Matthew. I had another fellow, I don't recall who it was, he was saying that between Manayunk and Conshohocken, we have more riverfront. We have maybe 3 miles of it, whereas they have maybe a mile and a half to develop in, 2 miles or so. So we have transportation, we have the railroads, we have the turnpike. Now we're going to have that. Tell me about that ramp that's coming in here from the turnpike into Lafayette Street or so. Is that on track?
As far as I know, it had to go under a full environmental study, which is 7 years. And I was concerned at the time that was announced because most of that area was old industrial sites. Hopefully they'll be able to get, highways can generally bypass any sort of environmental concerns because it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
It's part of our job to keep the political pressure on to get it done because there's a tremendous fight in the state for highway funds. And it's a 4 or 5 step process. And we're also fighting for the 422 corridor river funding right now.
Okay. What's the advantage of joining a businessman? I'm a new businessman. I want to invest in Norristown. What's the advantage for me to join the Chamber of Commerce if I'm a businessman? I'm going to open up a hoagie joint, or I'm going to open a shoe store. My father, we had a shoemaker stand right on the corner. I shine shoes. I fix shoes. Now, what's the advantage? I'll tell you, hey, I come over there. I want to, what can you help me? How can you help me?
First off, we can help you market your business. We can help you even get out there and let other people know you're in the area.
Good.
A major thing we can do for you is just what Al's just been here talking about, the neighborhood business improvement district. We get behind our businesses. We help the businesses. We try to keep involved in Lafayette Street project, any of the projects that are going on that will benefit local businesses. Al has even gotten involved so far as for zoning ordinances in different areas. Anything at all that our businesses need, they always call the chamber, and we're always able to help them make the contacts they have. This is a fabulous area. We have so much going for us.
If you want to know something about a certain city or town, you can call. You have a directory there to help you with names of town or a lot of businesses that
we get calls.
Want to locate.
Absolutely, and we get calls daily for referrals, and we only refer members.
Let's say the guy comes in, I want to invest in Norristown, but I really don't know what to do. Come to the chamber, they tell you what opportunity, what's available, what's around there, right?
Exactly.
Because you have the contacts. You know the old story, if you want to swim, you got to get in the water. You ain't standing there, stay dry all the time.
Right.
So tell me what else the chambers.
Well, Kathy mentioned one of the things that we looked at, and as it affects Norristown, is Norristown zoning all in place for high-rise development along the waterfront, following the Conshohocken model. You see, right now, you go into the successful areas around here, Plymouth Meeting, Upper Merion, Upper Providence, and you want to build something new, you're going to be 24 months getting approvals. You're probably going to fight with everybody around you to get it approved. And if they don't have to approve it, they will not approve it, okay? But in the borough of Norristown, if you get your height ordinances and so forth together, that money, that capital will flow to the borough, and that's what can make it come back.
But in other words, give a little advice to some of these people that may not know what to do.
I don't know how far they've gone, but
we got new council. We got some new council people,
I'm the guy who laughed at the guy who built West Conshohocken 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But he said to me, when you put those high-rise mid-rise ordinances, it's not true high-rise, I guess it's 16, 20 stories in Conshohocken. You get those ordinances in there near a transit center, you've got yourself some real estate you can rent. And you can't do that in any of the surrounding townships. But you can do it in the borough of Norristown.
Well, what are we waiting for?
I don't know.
Come on, let's.
I don't know.
Well, this show is aired East, North, West, North, and Norristown, okay? And I think and pretty well-educated area. They took a survey on the amount of people that read the Times Herald and that live here, but there's great opportunities here.
I'll give you a model that's going to happen this year. Bridgeport.
Yeah, how about that?
1,100 new households coming in. Houses have climbed to over $300,000. I was born and raised in Bridgeport. My sons grew up there.
Yeah.
There you go. There's another model of what can be done if there's cogent political forces directing it.
Well, my father had a shoemaker shop where you shine shoes right there with the corner of 88 East Main Street, corner of Main and DeKalb.
I know it well.
And I remember that our store would close at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, okay? And the people from Conshohocken used to come over. They would shop in Norristown. They'd bring their shoes on a Monday or so, and they'd pick them. They would get the last bus out to go to Conshohocken. There was nothing hardly down Conshohocken. Well, they had stores,
Right.
neighborhood stores and all, but they didn't have, what we had in Norristown. So we lost it. Norristown used to be known as the gateway to Valley Forge.
But look at the survivors. Zumo's Hardware, the Piantones, Main Changes, Chamar.
Yeah.
Lose.
Lose.
Let's not forget.
Yeah, 100
Lose.
years.
They stuck with what they did. They kept their properties nice.
Right.
And they're thriving. I was just in Zumo's last Saturday. They're the official supplier of the King of Prussia Inn and doing well, but they don't need a new tax imposed on them.
No, the opportunities are there, but everybody's not on the same page.
I interviewed Reverend Toms, right? And the church at Arian DeKalb, First Presbyterian
Yeah.
Church.
Okay.
That tower is 150.
The Copper Tower.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that is
Tower.
impressive.
Right.
It was redone recently.
Right. And I went to the ceremonies, celebration. Nancy Foley was part of it. But on their program that day, they said that they spent a lot of money, and they said they had to make a decision they should move out of town. They made the decision to stay in town and remodel it. They repainted it. They fixed the tower, and it's here, right there in the corner of Arian DeKalb.
There's another excellent example a couple of doors from there. A member of ours, Amy Steyer Architects, bought 2 brick houses. And
Right.
Did a magnificent, next door to where my grandfather's
Right.
bar was in the 40s, you see.
Yeah.
And she and her husband did a magnificent job of restoring those properties.
Yeah.
The law offices of High Schwartz around the corner are architecturally perfect.
Right.
So there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the borough promotes itself well. They're very difficult to understand.
Well, maybe that we need to, little cheerleading.
That's your new job.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll bounce it here with the TV show. I'll wake people up, and I'm going to go up and down and shake hands with some of the business. What another thing, the jewel too is West Marshall Street.
Yes.
Dave Serini. What a
Absolutely.
job that guy's doing.
Yes.
Yes, he
Oh
has.
my
Very
God.
impressive.
Yes.
And he's at he has that little Mexican like the mall upstairs.
The Hispanic
Right.
markets, yeah.
The
Oh,
markets
now
upstairs,
the
right.
mayor, I understand, of Reading is luring him up there. He wants him to come
You
up there and
bet.
fest,
Sure.
So I'm holding on to him. I said, stick around, kid.
And then another one to mention along those lines, the remarkable work the Gallo brothers have done
Oh,
with
yeah,
their Main
yeah,
Street
yeah.
property
Oh, man,
facade
they-
renovation program.
Unbelievable.
So it's showing where the private sector, if left unfettered, the capital will flow. Well,
Right.
Just the borough infrastructure and police protection, the
Yeah.
2 things they need.
Let's talk about Commissioner Matthews. If he becomes lieutenant governor, wouldn't that be a benefit for our area?
Absolutely, absolutely. See, the way I see it shaping up, in my opinion, if the Republicans are smart, they're going to endorse Lynn Swan at the top of the ticket and put Matthews in there as number 2.
Right.
Matthews.
Well, he already, Swan already endorsed him, didn't he?
Yes,
He said,
Yes, he endorsed
because
Matthews,
it's got
yes.
the west and the east.
that's
Great.
exactly right. And Rendell can be beaten then.
Oh, yeah.
This governor who likes to tax businesses so much can be sent back to Philadelphia. We can do that.
I knew him as a DA, and I was a good friend of Frank Rizzo.
I know him as
And he's
governor. I like him.
But what do you call him? Frastetti, And I knew him, I got along good with, when he was a district attorney, because I was with Frank Rizzo, and he used to kid him, and,
I was with him in
but,
Connie Williams.
we have a lot here, and it's just a matter of, maybe we got new council took over, and, just like a fighter. He's just in a corner, and you got the second telling him what to do. When that bell rings, go out and fight. And that's what we're doing. But the bell's ringing, and you're sitting there bobbing and weaving. We don't want to lose the fight in the dressing room. Let's do something.
Do something,
You got the
absolutely.
chamber, both of you is very active, So Now, what else can you tell me that, about the chamber? Do you think that, how many members we have?
Between the
Approximately.
two chambers, we have approximately 1,800 members.
How many?
1,800.
1,800
Between the
members?
two chambers, yes. 1,800 businesses, yes.
All right, let's, I'm the guy just moving in town. I want to join. I come over and I say, I want to join the chambers. What do I do? Is there,
Well,
how
depending
much
on
you
where
pay
you're
so
coming
much a
in.
month or so?
If you come in on the north side of the river, you go to Kathy or call her office at
All right,
6.
now, you're on Erie Street, right?
I'm on Sandy Hill Road.
On Sandy Hill Road,
Yeah.
and you're,
I'm at the King of Prussia Inn off of South Gulf Road, near the mall.
okay.
And, you just give Kathy a call at 610-277-9500,
Okay.
and she can set you up. And if you're on the south side of the river, you can call us at 610-265-1776, and we'll get
I
you
want,
right in.
I want the numbers flashed on the screen. I'm going to ask John Doyle to flash them on there, okay? And anybody that has a business should join the chamber. Do you want to be part of, get in the boat so we can sail. And I'll tell you,
Absolutely.
we're looking forward to the 200th anniversary of
You need another
Norristown.
part-time job, maybe we'll hire you.
Yeah, really, you're
But,
good.
well, hey, maybe I'll bob and weave. Look, I got all these young students here. They're all, what do you think of it, right? We together on it? Right on, right, okay, okay. We get the youth involved. That's the name of the game, man.
Absolutely.
So, when I remember the police department, just give me a gun and a badge and put me out in the street with no education. But we were there because we all lived in town, and we got along with all the business people. We knew them, we checked their doors at night and all. So my heart was right there with businessmen, And I would like to see a theater in Norristown. Theater where we can, all these people come from all over the county, all over the state, all over the country to come to the courthouse for whatever reason, okay? Why can't we have a theater? Nice restaurants, where after they get finished court at 4 o'clock, they go get something to eat, they see the theater, they get in the car. Frank Rizzo says, if you want to be a good mayor, you want to keep that town safe and clean.
Well, I can remember when
And we're working on it.
the night the gallery at Market East opened in Philadelphia, I was assigned to interview Jim Rouse, the guy who built it. And I said, Mr. Rouse, nobody puts them all in a downtown. Why? And he pointed across the room at Frank Rizzo. He says, he's the reason I put it here. And Frank Rizzo says, and I'm going to keep it safe. And he did. Similar circumstance in Norristown.
Absolutely. And, we have something else here in Norristown that, to me, is another jewel. It's the jewel of Montgomery County, and that's the Cultural Center.
Right,
The
okay.
Cultural Center sits right down there on DeKalb.
Right.
And
I don't miss a show. I get every one.
productions are phenomenal.
Right.
Fran Doyle, the director of that center, has done just a fabulous, fabulous job, and I just don't think that is utilized by the people of Norristown like it could be.
I interviewed the cast. Anytime there's a show, John Doyle has a cast, and I talk, and I plug the show. But majority of the people that come to see the show are from Philadelphia, or the
Exactly right.
the suburbs.
Great idea.
And the people in Norristown, and every time I get a guest, do you know what a culture center is? No, it's just, well, I'm going to go. So I'm trying to get people to get involved in the community.
You get
Go
calls-
see what's
Absolutely.
there.
You get calls from all over for that thing.
And they had some
Right.
great shows.
Now, as to a theater, that is something we have worked on since the Valley Forge Music Fair closed
Oh,
in
man.
1990
Oh,
That was a good one.
1996.
I love that one. Go see
And,
that. When it was a tent.
Now, I remember. But we lost probably about 400 bus trips a year that would have bought hotel rooms and meals,
Yeah.
go to the malls, when that closed. Now with gambling coming to Pennsylvania, the new museum at Valley Forge, which I think Jim Matthews has back on track, the possibility exists that there'll be enough revenue source to try to get something done.
Maybe I ought to give Trump a call, say, hey, how about a little small casino, not too big, but, just something on the riverfront. We got to develop that riverfront, right? Don't you think so?
I think the riverfront and potentially Barbados Island.
Right.
I've always felt Barbados
That would
Island
be great. Barbados Island. Oh, man.
could be a great attraction.
That would be,
That would be a
wouldn't that-
phenomenal attraction
that's great.
to this area. Mhm.
Oh, man, it's been so great to hear you talk, and we're looking forward to, 2000, or the 2000, 2012 would be, right?
Right.
And you're right there. And the people, we want business to come to Norristown, and I think that people like you that keep the ball bouncing, keep things going, keep bobbing and weaving, and punching ready all the time, right? So, Kathy, Thank you
Give us a
very
call.
much.
Thank you, Hank.
Al,
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having, I'd say, two distinguished guests, really, and they have their heart to help Norristown area, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for allowing us to come in and keep bobbing and weaving. Our camera crew there. You like this show? You get something out of it? Good. That's what I like. I like when we got the young people, they enjoy what we're talking about because it's your future, okay? Until we meet again, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. Grazie.
car?
Yeah, I'm still in the thinking process.
College.